This call is being recorded.
Well, hey, welcome to our Uplift Call, where we uplift ourselves, uplift each other. By the grace of God, we'll uplift the world together. And so, my friend, we have this call every morning to empower you, to encourage you, to uplift you, my friend. So let me start off with our July, the last day here, this declaration to manifest the jubilant July. Let me show you how powerful our God is. Your whole month could have been terrible, but you make this decree this day, and he can change it on this one day. How do I know? Well, because Joseph, my friend, in one day, get this now, he's in jail, he's in prison, he's locked up. But in one day, my friend, he gets out, and now he's the prime minister. Don't tell me, my God, it takes too long. The old folks said he's just on time. So that's right. Make this declaration this day, and then last day of the month. And listen, my friend, and he can make this day so good that it clouds out every bad thing that ever happened this month. So here we go. We pray, declare, and decree according to Job 22:28. Thou shalt also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto thee, and the light shall shine upon thy ways. Romans 4:17b. He calleth those things which be not as though they were. Mark 11:23. Whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed and be thou cast in the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart, shall believe that those things which he says shall come to pass, he shall have whatsoever he saith. So we say that July is an incredibly blessed month. And this last day of July is blessed. This is the most blessed day for my family, my team, and I. We are walking in the freedom, the anointing, and strength of our mighty God. We are experiencing supernatural peace and joy based on his word that we receive and believe. July is our month of great freedom, great grace, great power, great favor, great connections, great wisdom, great revelation and manifestation. We believe and receive incredible miracles. We expect and experience spiritual, financial, physical, emotional, business, relational breakthroughs. This month brings great wellness, wisdom, and wealth. We are increasing, breaking through every barrier that tries to hinder us and our success. We hear the voice of God clearly and speak his word with power, clarity, as well as unbridled authority. We continually thank and praise our mighty God because no weapon that's formed against us can prosper, and every weapon we may have formed in our own mind against ourselves, we now cancel and reverse it through the blood of Jesus. We are committed and will break to everything that they said that we couldn't have, as well as what we in our ignorance used to believe that we couldn't have. We are prospering. We are overcomers. And we are experiencing divine supernatural increase and breakthroughs. New discoveries spring forth for us in this incredibly blessed month. Our God, raising up powerful people in prominent places that will use their power, wealth, and influence to empower us to achieve his purpose in our lives. We anticipate receiving this or more on this day, in Jesus' name, amen and amen. So let's take a deep breath, symbolizing we're breathing that in. And besides that, my wife always saying, baby, just breathe, just breathe. So let's take a deep breath. Again, breathing this in. All righty. Okay, my friend, well, it's our great delight and privilege and pleasure to have Mr. Philip Hudgins. Oh, my wife and I, we've got some places that are favorite. Jonathan the other day was saying, well, if we can live anywhere, where would you want to live? I was like, oh, it had to be Jamaica, man. Yeah, man. But we love going to Jamaica. We love the different places we've been. But here in the United States, one of our favorite places now has become going to see our good friend, Mr. Philip Hudgins. He and his lovely wife, Cammie. And I'm telling you, my friend, this guy has such a servant's heart. He's so humble, so down to earth, and it's inspiring. Even when he doesn't say a word, when you get to see what God has done in and through him, symbolizing that, my friend, if you're willing to put the work in, if you're willing to believe when it seems like it's not happening, if you're willing to keep on going when it seems like there's nothing to go for, my friend, then I'm telling you, God has favored him. And so somebody on this call, again, my friend, we've got till Friday, but you're going to get to spend a weekend with him at his 30,000 square foot mansion. And you're going to be mentored by this multi-millionaire that sold a business for over $100 million. Him and his partners, and now he launched another business, one of the fastest growing in the industry. And he loves people. Listen, he's got a heart as big as Texas, although he lives in the other Big D. He calls it Big D. It's little compared to this Big D, but we'll let him have it. He also knows the facts. I mean, this guy knows numbers. He's got incredible wisdom from God. He's a go-getter, goes after it. And listen, my friend, and yet, listen to this. He's not satisfied with what God has done for him. He's reaching out to empower others. And so, my friend, you'll hear with great delight Mr. Philip Hudgins. Hey, champ, take it away.
Good morning, young man. Can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear, man.
Loud and clear. Okay. Folks, I appreciate you, buddy. I was blessed yesterday morning. There's next time you're in Danville, Dr. Stan, I'll take you by and introduce you to him. But there's a setup in the real Big D here. It's called God's Pit Crew. I knew you'd get a kick out of that one. So God's Pit Crew is run by Randy Johnson and his wife, Terry. Just super, super solid Christian, good people. And I met them, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, maybe 20 years ago. And ended up actually owning some land that they bought from me to build a house on. I basically give it to them because of all the work they do. But long story short, they have a ministry for disaster relief. When that last hurricane hit Houston, God's Pit Crew was the first one pulled in. They're in Kenya. They're everywhere, all over the world. They have blessing buckets that they share with people. They keep them built up. They've got so many volunteers that work for them that, I mean, they can load up tractor trailer trucks in 10 minutes and have them hitting the road. They got probably 50 tractor trailer trucks now. Matter of fact, I just sold them one. I'll give that to them too. You might as well say I got a tax write-off, but I had one from a race team that they bought. But anyway, I was able to go over. They had a breakfast, and they had some of the businessmen and women invited, and they brought in a guy, and I'm not putting a plug in for him. I just met him. His name is Brian Sanders, and he's worked in positive alternative radio, Christian-based, for 20 years. He's been a pastor for probably 30 years, and just seemed like a solid, grounded young man. And he just wrote his first book. And his book, Dr. Stan, is different than any book I've ever picked up. You know, you have leadership principles, you have leadership standards, you have how to become a leader, how to develop leaders within, how to develop leaders around you. But nobody's ever written a book on leadership endurance. In other words, when you get there, how you stay there. And this guy wrote one. And it went overnight, first seller, blah, blah, blah. I'm not usually impressed by speakers and books, just to be honest with you folks. But before I left there, I got mine autographed, and I bought 25 to pass out to my top leaders. And that normally don't happen to me without reading the book. Okay, so that was the impact this guy made on me. All right.
Wow.
So I took some notes. And I'm going to share those notes with you this morning. So,
Come on.
We say in this business, all we got to do is lie, cheat, and steal. Lie awake at night, cheat ourselves out of sleep, and steal every idea we can come up with. So these are not original. I don't have original thought in my head. Dr. Stan doesn't. Pastor Kenny doesn't. I mean, we get it from somewhere. Okay? So here's the deal. This guy started, now picture this. I'm going to set the stage for you, okay? He started his presentation with a picture of a little house that he called the White House. And it was in 1862, and it was Abraham Lincoln. Now, that goes way back, folks, way back. So he says, see this window right here? Everybody said, yeah. He said, that's where his son was laying at 3 years old, dying. And it was nothing anybody could do. Nothing. He said, see this window over here on the other end of the hall? Yeah. That's where his wife was laying, completely needed to be put in an insane asylum, mad, crazy, screaming, hollering, and accusing him of everything under the sun that a man don't want to be accused of. Daily, every minute, every second of the day. You see this big window right between the hallway? Yeah. He said out there on the lawn was the soldiers that were protecting him and his family from the people that wanted to kill him for the decisions he made. He said, now, you want to talk about enduring something? He said, can you imagine getting up, going down that hall every morning to that sun, knowing the next day he's out of here? That pressure, that shoulder weight on him, and then having to go down the hall and try to tell his wife he loves her and listen to that. And he said there was nowhere for him to go because in between the two, he looked out and seen what the decisions he had made had come to for his family, but he made the decisions for his country, for his people. But he didn't give up. He didn't fold. He endured. So then he goes downstairs. Back then, you could walk in the White House and have a meeting with the president. You didn't have guards. You didn't have all this stuff. They had the guards out there protecting to keep him from getting hurt. But you could ask for a meeting. Just walk in and say, I want to meet with him. And they had to give you one. So he said there's people lined up in the hall waiting for him. Because there's meetings all day long. With all that going on upstairs, all that going on outside, his head has got to be about to explode. But he had a purpose. He had a goal. He had a mission. And he didn't give up on any of it. So now he's walking down the hall and people saying, I need to talk to you. I got this. I got a complaint. I want to hear this. I want to. And so he goes in and now his cabinet's in there. Okay, this is his support group. So his cabinet are like, okay, so why are we spending so much money on this war? Why don't we get it done quick? One says, why don't we get it slowly, take our time? One says, why are we even doing it to begin with? It's just costing too much. Too many people are dying. Why you make these decisions? Why you put us in this position? Why? And he's got to deal with that all day long, but he never wavered. Folks,
come on.
We waver. We will make a decision, and 30 seconds later, we waver. We take the path of least resistance. We don't endure the hardships to really get to where we need to be. So this guy used these examples and slides and went through so many things. He went from that to Theodore Roosevelt, who couldn't walk and had braces and pulled himself across the floor. But he never, he got like governor, secretary of the Navy in a wheelchair. He didn't let that stop him and became president of the United States in a wheelchair.
Come on now.
And we perfectly good people walking across the floor and can't pick up a piece of paper. You know, it's amazing. So here's the steps that God gives once you paint that picture. Step one, you must have a mission. Your mission is your why. Your mission is your why. You think he went on a mission? I beg to differ. You think you could stop? You know what it took to stop him? A bullet through the head. That's what it took to stop him.
Wow.
He never give up. Think about that, folks. What are you willing to do for your family? What are you willing to do for your community? What are you willing? Forget the money. Forget we moving a product, whatever that is. That's just a byproduct of what we do. Folks, we're changing the face of our country. That's what we do as entrepreneurs. We offer people opportunities that they don't have to work with that thumb over them the rest of their life. We offer them the free enterprise system, whichever deal you're using. Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. Is one better than the other one? Probably not. You know what's better than the other one? The person that's got the deal. That's the one that wins. That's the one that wins. It's not about the deal, the next best thing. Folks, until you look in that mirror and say, you know what, there's my problem, you're not going to fix the problem. Period. End of discussion. So here's a question for you. What's your mission? What's your why? All right? So why are you here? Why are you on this phone this morning? Why are you trying to get every nugget you can get and take notes from different people, from all of the wonderful speakers that they put on here every morning? I've listened to them. They got some great points. So why are you here? Why do you keep listening to that over and over and over and not figure out what your mission is?
Come on.
Why are you breathing? Think about that. Think about that. Our God doesn't create any junk. Why are you here? Why are you breathing? Why did he put you? There's a purpose. What skills and talent have you been given? It doesn't matter, folks. If you can cut the grass, do it to his glory.
Come on.
If you can wash windows, do it to his glory. He gave you that talent. He didn't have to. If it's just reaching out and helping somebody, help somebody across the street, whatever it is, he gave you that talent. Well, you know what? That talent is your mission. So you use your mission in every way you can. Use your talents in every way you can to make people and things and places a better place, a better thing, a better person when you walk away from them. That's your purpose. That's what you're here for. Okay? That's what you're here for. So number 2, this is a big one, folks. Decide today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. When you fall, you're going to get back up and continue to fight. Because you know what?
Come on.
The one thing I can promise you, you're going to fall. You're going to trip. You're going to stumble.
Sir.
You know, I owned a concrete business for 20 years. And people used to say, well, how's your concrete? What can you guarantee me? I said, I can guarantee you it's going to crack. It's concrete. It's going to crack. I can't stop it. They're like, well, I don't want mine cracked. Then go with asphalt, because that's going to crack too. But, you know, I don't care what concrete company you use, what mix we put in it, how many lines we cut in it, it's still going to crack. You're putting concrete on soil that's softer than the concrete. You can pack it. You can do whatever you want to do. Eventually, mine might make it 2 years, 3 years, but it's going to crack. And people are like, well, at least you're honest. I'm like, hey, his is going to crack too. He just might tell you it ain't. So go over there and believe me. I can put rebar in it. I can do what you want to do. Still going to crack. Okay? So you're going to fall. We can lie to you. We can cheat you out of something, but you're going to fall, folks. The question is, how quick can you get up? And you know what's going to keep you up and keep you fighting? Your why. Your mission.
Yes, sir.
All of these things. Again, it doesn't matter. It's amazing. These people that are coming on here talking like I'm doing this morning have nothing to do with you folks whatsoever monetarily. Half of the people speaking to you are pouring into you from their heart because of the things that I'm saying right now. It doesn't matter to me. I want you to win. Don't matter what I make off of it. I'm not interested in that. I'm not needy or greedy. Okay? But bottom line, we want you to succeed. So we're willing to pour into you. I'm willing to take what the good Lord above has given me and share it with other people, regardless if they work for me or not. That doesn't make sense. So you're going to fall. Just how quick can you get up? Okay? So when I made the analogy of Theodore Roosevelt and Lincoln, you know, if you look at what they went through, I want you to ask yourself one serious question. What's your excuse? Let that one sink in.
Wow.
Let that one sink in just a minute. Let's slow it down and get real serious. So you can make excuses or you can turn them into reasons. All right? Every excuse in your life. You know, I can't do this because I got my kids. No, I beg to differ. You got to do this because you got your kids. I can't do this. I have to look after my sick dad. No, you got to do this because your dad's sick. He may not make it. Who's going to bury him? You got to work. You got to provide. That's an excuse. That's a cop-out. Turn it into a reason. Turn it into a reason to get up earlier. Folks, I've been at my office since 6:30. Not in my house, at my office, sitting at my desk. I've had 2 calls before this one. I got 2 more after this one. Then I got a meeting. I mean, it's my day. When I come in, my wife said, how was your day? I said, busy. She said, that's good. Every hour on the hour, folks, I'm doing something. Ask Dr. Stan. He can text me. I'll text him. If he calls me, I can't answer. It's not that I don't like him. I love the guy. He's like a brother from another mother. But I can't answer the phone. I'm on the phone. I ain't figured out how to talk 2 conversations at one time. Okay? So step 2, decide today that when you fall, you're going to get up and continue to fight for your mission. Number 3, folks, hope you're writing this stuff down. Number 3, trust that God has a plan. See, folks, when we get out of his will, when we go our way, and when we take things into our own hand, and we get what I call the big head, boy, we can mess up anything. Anything. But he has a plan. And his will is not our will. You know, he put me flat on my back one time for 58 days in the hospital. And he taught me some powerful, powerful stuff. He was tapping on my shoulder, tapping on my shoulder, tapping on my shoulder. He finally just knocked me down, laid me flat out. I had nowhere to look but up. And boy, did he pour into me. And the thing that I can say is I never said, why me, God? I said, what are you trying to teach me? And he poured into me. And he didn't let me up out of that bed until he got through with me. And when he finished, I had a clear, precise picture of going out and helping thousands and thousands and thousands of people get to where I got to. He got me straight, okay? And he'll get you straight. But here's what we do. Let me tell you what we do. Instead of trusting in him and his plan, now, that don't mean lay it at his feet and go watch TV and he's going to take care of it. Folks, that's the most misconception in the world. There's a little 4-letter word called W-O-R-K. Okay?
Yes, sir.
The ox is in the ditch, get him out. Okay? That don't mean sit there and watch him fall in the ditch and leave him alone. Okay? Work is work. Okay? You got to do your part. Now, here's what he said. When you trust in him, it's still going to be always more things out of your control, listen to me, than that are in your control. You don't have control over anything. So what we find ourselves doing is majoring on the minors, the little bitty thing, okay? And then we worry about the things that we can't do nothing about. God's going to give the increase. That's his job. You just sow the seeds. That's all you can do. You're trying to give the increase. Can't do it. You're trying to control it. You're trying to make it happen. You're trying to put a square peg in a round hole. It don't fit. Trust in him because there's so many things that he can do that you can't even think about doing. The end result that you're looking for, it may not look like what you wanted. That's not his will. That's your will. But where you're at is where he wants you at. Till you get comfortable with that, folks, you try to control everything. And you can't endure trying to control. You can only endure trusting in him and making his plan come true. It might be different. You know what? I went through so many trials and tribulations. I went through so much stuff before it finally clicked and started working. But he had to get me conditioned. It's like a football player. You just can't go out there and start. Y'all watch this American Ninja Warrior on TV. These dudes don't just look like that overnight. They've had a kid on there last night. I love that stuff. It's competitive. He just turned 20 years old, and he's been training since he was 13. And he trained with two of the best guys on there that have won the thing every year, back and forth, back and forth. Both of them trained this kid. Both of them right now are in their 30s. It come down last night to the kid and his personal coach running the course to see who won. And the kid beat him. Beat his coach. Why?
Come on.
He's younger. He's younger. Okay? And you know what the coach did? Picked him up, held him up like a torch, throwed him up in the air. They interviewed him, and his coach said, you know what? He said, I was praying that I didn't have to run after this kid. I was praying that he won't be the one here, but I was also praying that he win it all. He said, so I'm mixed.
Wow.
But he said, I'm here, he's here, the better man won. You know? But he said, I didn't want to compete against him. I know how good he is. I know his youth. I know what's going on. Okay? But he was so excited that he won. All right? So just always remember there's going to be more things out of your control than that are in your control. And if you try to be a control freak, you're done. You can't. You can't control everything. You've got to let it go. You've got to turn it over to the one that does control everything. But you got to control the things you can. Your time management, your goals, your mission, all the things that you know it takes to be successful, you handle that. The outcome, he'll take care of. Okay? Now, number 4, be purposeful in living a life of impact. Man, it ain't about you. Okay? It's making an impact on others. And you never, even in a million years, begin to guess the second part of this that he gives us. So be purposeful in living a life of impact. And one day, people will want to come where you once were. Man, that made cold chills in my arm.
Come on.
If you were to take a toll right now at where you're at in life, would your children be just stretching to get to where you're at? Would the people around you that know you, that go to church with you, that work with you, would they be striving to be the dad you are, the mom you are, the grandpa you are, the person you are, the leader you are? Would they just be telling people, man, I just want to be like him. Man, I just want to be like her. Would that what people would be saying? See, folks, an impact is an impact. You're not going to take anything with you when you leave here. I've never seen a hearse going down the road pulling a U-Haul. It don't happen. You ain't taking it with you. But you can leave an impact. See, the one thing that I've always said, Dr. Stan, is when I'm out of here and I take my last breath, that I don't want my grandchildren to have Tiger Woods or Michael Jordan or Richard Petty over the fireplace. I want Papa's picture up there.
Wow.
And I want that legacy to go on. And I want them kids to say, my Papa did this. My Papa taught me this. My Papa got the fire in my gut. That's the man that molded and shaped my life. I don't want somebody else, some hero, some superficial movie star or something up there that they're worshiping. Now, number one, they're worshiping God. They're not worshiping me. But people today will worship an idol, Hollywood. Let's just say it that way. That's wrong. That's wrong. And that's a lot that's wrong with our country. But I'm not going to get into that, okay? But bottom line, folks, be purposeful in living a life to impact others. Now, you don't have a choice in that. You're going to make an impact on people's life, whether you believe it or not, but you do have a choice in whether it's going to be purposeful or just no count. I mean, if you got, bless the heart, a drug addict for a son, they're going to make an impact on your life. It's just not a good one. If you got an alcoholic for a brother-in-law, he'll make an impact on all the kids' lives. It's just not a good one. Somebody wind up in jail, they're making an impact. You see it all the time. But be purposeful in your impact. And again, people will want to come alongside you and be where you once were. And number 5, this is one that really gets deep, folks. I'm telling you, this is the one. And this is the last one. No leader lasts forever. None of us. Our days are numbered. Okay? But their impact can. Now, let's think about that impact. What did I just say about Lincoln? He's gone. Right? He's out of here. And let me tell you something. I truly enjoy my freedom. I don't know about you.
Yes, sir.
That man fought for it. He died for it. Every single day, I appreciate that freedom. Now, if you're sitting in your home, in your office, in your car, Steve Jobs is gone. But hold your phone up. How about that? How about the communication? How about the technology that we're using today? How about all these people around the country on one call at one time? He made an impact. Don't matter if you like it. He made an impact. He's gone. Either you got in your car this morning and went somewhere, or you're getting ready to. Henry Ford's dead. But he made an impact. We travel because of his vision. We travel because of his mission. So the moral to that story is we have a limited lifespan. Don't squander it away. Folks, what are you doing with yours? The last two things. Folks, write this one down. I'm telling you, this one hit me so hard. Because I didn't quit, this is you talking. Because I didn't quit, people will want to stand where I stood because I was able to accomplish blank. Fill in the blank. Why will people want to stand where you stood? This guy put a picture up, and man, I had cold chills all over my body. It was a building that had been turned into a restaurant. And in 1862, it was right across the street from Lincoln. And Lincoln would go over and stand on the steps and do his speeches. And bottom line, he showed the picture of Lincoln, his bodyguard, and one other guy standing with him under the little thing. And last year, this guy went to that place and stood on that same step and took a picture, and he put it up on the screen, and he was standing in the same spot Lincoln was standing in. He said, man, wow, I wanted to stand where he stood just to feel it. I wanted to stand where he stood. Why did he want to stand? Look at what he accomplished. So when you're out of here, why are people going to want to stand where you stood? Okay? Now, closing it out. None of this is going to make it easy. It's going to be hard work. I'm just telling you right now. I'm a realist. Whatever it is you're doing, it's going to be the hardest thing you ever done. Okay? It's going to be difficult. All right? All of that's a given. But easy never changed the world. Let's go out, folks. Lock arms at whatever we're doing and make a difference in the world we live in. Turn it over to you, Dr. Stan.
Wow. Wow. You know, that's why Nadia and I, we say we're a breakthrough covenant couple, building covenant relationships based on the covenant of promise, and we aspire to inspire breakthroughs even after we've expired. So we've dedicated our lives to educating, empowering, and elevating people to break through any barrier that would hinder their success by empowering them to break to the best version, or at least a better version of themselves. And that's why, my friend, many of you, that's why we do these calls. That's why we have special guest speakers like Mr. Philip Hudgins, who would share his heart like that. So powerful. I hope you got those points. I hope you wrote it down. As we often say, note takers are money makers. But Dr. Breakthrough says, but action takers are bigger money makers. So don't just take notes. That's the first part. But more importantly is take action on the notes that you took. One of the things I love about Mr. Philip Hudgins, what he just did, he demonstrated true humility, because he said, listen, I just heard this other guy, and here's what he said, and I'm going to give you some thoughts and throw in some of my thoughts about what he said. But here's what happened, my friend. Here's what you don't understand. This is what makes people powerful. Because, and that's what I teach in my breakthrough challenge, is you got to internalize stuff. And so I don't know about you, as he was speaking, I mean, I heard him mention the guy's name, but I didn't hear the guy. I heard Mr. Philip Hudgins, because he took what the guy said. He internalized it. And by the way, part of what was happening today that you don't understand is, you know, one of the times Jim Rohn and I, we were speaking, me and Jim Rohn and Bill Bailey in Montana. And oh my goodness, you talk about driving Miss Daisy. Well, I was driving Mr. Bailey and Jim Rohn. They wanted to go see Old Faithful. It was like an 8-hour drive, you know. But anyway, but one of the things that Mr. Rohn said that was incredible to me, he said, one of the greatest things about speaking, he said, is not just that the speaker, he said, a word can change somebody's life. He said, but not only is the audience changed, he said, but the speaker themselves, they are often changed themselves because now they have to get it a little deeper as they're expressing it to others. And one of the powerful things is that Philip not just took notes, now he's teaching, which means it's going deeper in him, which means he's even getting more. He didn't just internalize it and start applying, but now it's going even further because he's now giving out, that now opens up a revenue way for God to start pouring more in. So I hope you took the notes, and I hope you'll duplicate what you just saw in Mr. Philip Hudgins, and that is take this, get some young teenager who doesn't believe in themselves, pull them aside and teach. See if you can teach them this. Get somebody on your team that doesn't seem like they're the sharpest one, and pull them aside, pour into them, show them a little love, show them some true compassion, show them that somebody believes in them, show them that somebody believes in them beyond where they see themselves now. That's exactly what Mr. Philip Hudgins was doing this morning. That's exactly what most of our speakers are doing when they're coming on this call. And I told you before, and I'm going to tell you again, sometimes you need to call, and other times the call needs you, my friend. But this is a call you needed. This is a call you needed, and I trust that you'll get to replay. See, again, and Philip, this is what's amazing. I keep telling people, see, if you're not a speaker, and I'm talking about a real speaker, I'm not talking about somebody that says something. I'm talking about someone who lives something and then speaks from the overflow of what changed them. And whether it's something that God teaches you through his spirit in your inner man, or whether it's something that you hear from the outer man that you have internalized. And but I'm telling you, it's a life of joy to be growing and expanding, and to be able to do what was just done. So, what is your mission, as you said? What's your mission? I mean, decide today, when you fall, you'll get back up quickly. See, the Bible says, a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again. So trust that God has a plan, right? Even when you can't see it. And then be purposeful about living a life of impact. As Jim Rohn said, make it so that when someone tells their story of success, your name comes up. Why? Because you allowed God to get you out of your own selfish way to be able to pour into somebody else. And then he said, no leader lasts forever, but the impact can. And by the way, who are you training? Who are you working with that even when you're gone? A message that will continue to have impact will also have a man or a woman who's heralding, saying that message, giving it out. So, folks, this is incredible. And again, what I was saying about speakers. See, you'll hear something and you'll say, man, that was good. Here's what you don't understand. Like, and I'll just tell you, like, for instance, some stuff that I speak about here. You don't even know. Like, it ain't like I speak about it and it's done. No, dude, sis, listen, this is something I've been going over and over and over and over again. And after I've spoken it to you, and some of you have forgotten it, my friend, I am still thinking, I'm still mulling over, I'm still applying, I'm still going through, and this is something you've got to get and listen to over and over and over and over again, and start picking pieces you can apply and put into practice. And that's the biggest difference between martial arts and everything else. We went to practice. But here, people are like, well, I went to the convention. I learned. No, you didn't learn nothing, because you didn't do nothing. You didn't practice anything. So Mr. Hudgins started practicing by again, regurgitating after he internalized. And now, my friend, you need to do the same. I trust that this is going to sink deep. This man, again, sacrificed his precious time to come and to speak. And I hope, my friend, you don't treat it lightly. I hope, in your case, didn't cast the pearl before swine. Mr. Philip Hudgins, give an example, my friend. Talk to us.
Buddy, I'm listening to you, and it just hit me. We got a young lady. I'll leave the names out of the situation. This young lady came to us. She speaks fluent English and fluent Spanish. Cute as a button, in college, 19 years old. don't know what direction, where she's going, but just coachable as the day is long. She lives in California. My chief business officer, you have met him. His name's Rich Rossi. You met him when you were in Dallas. Rich just took a liking to her. She was downline to somebody under him. Long story short, when I mean took a liking to her, he was like, this one's special. She's got something. So he started working with her. He started calling her. He started training her. He got her first full month in the business. She made right at $8,000. That's a lot of money for a 19-year-old. She just turned 20. She's been so coachable to do everything. It's not a plug for us. I'm giving you an example. We have a seminar program that we do for churches and unions and you name it. And we go in and show them how to get their house in order, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's not important. What's important is he taught her the program. She's Catholic. She went to her priest. She said, I need to bring in my chief business officer, and we need to talk to your people about how to handle their money, their finances, how to get their house in order. He said, we have an organization inside of us that does that, but because it's you, I'll let you come in. So they went in this past Sunday in California. He didn't even give them, Dr. Stan, he didn't even give them airtime. It's a mess. So I don't know. I'm not Catholic. I'm not putting it down. I just don't know how it operates. But the priest talks, okay? So he couldn't get them up in front of the room, but he stood them up in the audience. And they were smart enough. This little girl did it. She got them all the same color shirt, put Invita on it, and they stood up. And they said, these are the three people you need to see before you leave here today about your finances. They come up with the idea to get a clipboard for three of them. It was her and her sister and Rick. And they put the actual, what we would call a lead, but it says, I'm interested in, this, about 10 things they could be interested in. Check what you're interested in. Give me your name, print your name and your phone number, and we'll call you and come see you. They stood at each entrance, and they got 38 people that said, come see me. I'm interested in at least two things.
Wow.
So they said, 38 they got to go see. Now, 10 on top of the 38, the priest had given them a room and said, y'all can go over here after the service, and anybody wants to come in there and talk to you, take as long as you want. 10 people came over to that room and actually talked to them and said, I need this, this, and this. How could you do this? How could you do that? One couple came in. They were late 60s, early 70s. And they said, we only got 5 minutes. We got somewhere to be. Rick started talking to them. 35 minutes later, they said, son, you're amazing. We need you to come see us. He said, okay, I live in St. Louis. She lives here. She will be my boots on the ground, but I'll handle everything for you. They said, that's fair enough. She went over last night. He called me at 9:30. She went over, sat down with him, did what he had taught her, uncovered their budget, uncovered what they got. Long story short, they had $1.5 million, $1.5 million in the wrong investments, in the market, in the steadily. It's very vulnerable. They could lose it tomorrow. They had it. A little bit of it was in annuities, which was safe. And then they had it in 401ks. They had left the job, never went back and moved it. So fast forward. Let's say best case scenario, that young lady is able to help them structure something that Rich is a genius at with the companies we have and put that 1.5 million in, conserve it where it'll be a legacy left for their children for the rest of their life, okay, and their grandchildren and so on and so forth, and they just live off of the money that it makes. We can do that for people. But that young lady at her level, which is beginner, she just started, and you said help young people. That's what triggered this, Dr. Stan. See, we steal, shop, and steal, buddy. That one deal will make her $90,000.
Come on. Look at God.
20-year-old making $90,000 on one client that they spent Sunday evening talking to 48 people. Now they got 48 more shots, 47 more shots. No telling what's going to come out of that. Now, the most important thing is these folks could have died tomorrow, and that stuff was so scattered out, the kids couldn't even find it.
Wow.
They're just not planning. Nobody's helping them. So when you're helping people, folks, things happen when your heart's right and you're in the right place, and it's, a higher power backing it. It's going to work out like it's supposed to. But that's just one example of a 20-year-old girl in college that $90,000 will pay for her entire college, and she'll never leave there with a student loan. She starts her life fresh. One thing.
Wow.
So I just want to give you that example, brother.
So you just never know. Well, thank you, man. That's powerful, Philip. Thank you. We appreciate you.